then I thank God I'm breathing.
Hello, and welcome to my channel, Miss Ware 0104. My name is Ada, and I am making this video. It's long overdue, but this is the second part to a video that I made last year. I made the K1 visa, the Fiancé visa video. The entire process I went through to get my then fiance, now husband, from Jamaica to the United States to marry me and live with me here. So this is the second video showing you all the process that he and I took to keep him here in the United States after we were married. So this here is the binder. I had to pause for my thumbnail. Actually, yeah, I'll take a snapshot of it later. But documents for application of adjustment of status. His worth I'm really going to have to edit this video, Jesus. So as you can see here, this binder, all the information inside is, let me read it. So you're gonna see me looking down. This is the documents for the application for adjustment of status to permanent resident, his work authorization, as well as his travel document. Alrighty, so it's the I-485. That is the application for adjustment of status to permanent resident. That is to keep him here in the United States. In the meanwhile, because for the whole time before he gets what is called a green card, this entire video is going to be edited. I'm telling you, I can't even think right now. All these motorcycles is going by, which is nice to see everybody enjoying themselves. But god dog, it's like taking away my train of thought. All right. So this video is about the process that my husband and I went through to keep him here in the United States, and that is an application called the I-485, which is the application for adjustment of status to permanent residence. In the meanwhile, the whole time that he was here waiting to get married, and even after getting married to me, he was not allowed at all to work. If the United States found out that he, a citizen of Jamaica, was here working in the United States and it wasn't authorized, he would be deported back to Jamaica immediately upon knowledge of that. So he applied for himself a work authorization. If there was an emergency to arise in Jamaica, it would be about 2 years before he can even go back to Jamaica. So with that being said, he also applied for his travel documents. The travel document is a number that's placed on the bottom of the work authorization so that he would be able to travel. I believe it's just one trip to Jamaica. He could leave at any point. Let me clarify that. He could leave from America back to Jamaica at any point, but he wouldn't be able to come back to America without having either a travel document or his permanent residence card, aka green card. All right, so let's get to it. So as I told you all in the first, here's my husband actually. Sometimes these camera shots, look at him going back. All right, so anyways, as I had stated in my first video when I was recording the process of the K1 visa, which is the I-129F, it's best to make a copy of everything that you put together for the USCIS because you are going to need it again. You're going to need it again. He's been here 2 years and I still need that information because he filed for his daughter to come here. She's here with us, and now I'm filing for his sons. Like I explained in the first video, because of the pandemic, the coronavirus outbreak, COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, the embassy in Jamaica, the U.S. Embassy in Jamaica shut down the same week as the boys' interview. So not only were they not able to complete their interview, they was not able to get their visa, they was not able to reschedule that interview, they was not able to come to the United States to be with us, and every penny my husband put into getting them here, he lost it. That was about almost $2,000, I believe. So we were told, basically, tough titty, file the I-130, which is an application for, I hate the way they call it alien, but it's the application for alien relatives. I call it foreign relatives. Alrighty, so that's gonna be another video, because as I'm making this video, I'm filing for his boys. I'm putting together all the information. Let's get to it. That's gonna be another video, okay? So what I did is I put a checklist here of everything that I was gonna need. Everything I was gonna need for my husband to stay here with me in the United States and not be sent back, because with the K1 visa, you got 90 days, like the show 90 Day Fiancé, you got 90 days to come up with your money and apply for the green card, aka, I'm gonna edit that out. Anyways, we gonna call it green card, okay? Because I get tongue-tied when I'm saying permanent residency card. All right. So whatever I call it, it's the same thing. Green card, permanent residency card, okay? So we had 90 days to do this. So we was some working bees. All right. As in bumblebee. I hate when women call themselves the B-I-T-C-H word. I hate it. But anyways, okay, so the first thing on the checklist was a cover letter. So with that being said, I typed up a cover letter. It does cost, as of today, which is May 2nd, 2021, because I heard the fees are going to be changing, but it costs $1,140. And not only did I go through this process with my husband, but we went through this process with his daughter. Since his daughter is here, our daughter is here, we went through the same process. So we're just waiting. We haven't gotten an approval letter yet, and I will get to it, but it takes at least nine months before we know that everything was approved. Okay, so let me stop jumping ahead. I got a bad habit of jumping ahead. So it's $1,140 to apply for the I-485 permanent residency card. And because we're doing the I-485, we didn't have to pay for the work authorization, and we did not have to pay for the travel document. We were able to file all three applications for that one fee. Otherwise, it's $1,140 alone for the I-485. If you later file for the work authorization, that's another fee. And if you later file for the travel document, that's another fee. Okay, so the USCIS did us a favor with that. Okay, so I wrote a cover letter. You could do a personal check or a bank cashier's check, which we always do bank cashier's checks, because they'll just type out all the information on the check for you. You won't even have to write anything. That check was for, like I said, $1,140. We had to get an additional bank cashier's check for $85, and that was the cost of the biometrics. You can just Google cover letter to USCIS for I-485, and they'll give you an example of what that looks like, and also the address. This here, my first binder for the K1 visa, which was, again, the I-129F, I had to mail that over to Texas, to the USCIS. because I live in Arizona. So Arizonans and other people in our area, we send our information over to Texas. Okay. Once the USCIS accepted it, they then mailed it over to Virginia to the National Visa Center. Once the National Visa Center accepted it, then they mailed it over to Kingston, Jamaica, to the U.S. Embassy there. And the reason why I said that information is because someone wrote me on my first video last night asking, if you don't mind, she's so sweet, if you don't mind, can you tell me if you had to mail that entire, how did you mail that entire binder over to Jamaica? I personally didn't. I mailed it to Texas. Texas mailed it to Virginia. Virginia mailed it to Kingston. So with this I-485 application, I had to mail this over to Chicago, Illinois. This binder that I showed you is my copy. All right. I don't want to miss out anything. So I wrote my cover letter to the USCIS, and that cover letter just explains to them what this binder is for. Well, this one here, it was from my husband to the USCIS. So he wrote his name. First of all, at the top of the letter, it says I-485 cover letter, and it's right in the center. On the right margin, he wrote his name, our address, and his email address. Then underneath, it says United States Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services, USCIS. There, and then we put an attention, FBAS. I'm not sure what that means, but that's what we did. Then the address that this binder was mailed to is 131 South Dearborn, 3rd floor, Chicago, Illinois, 60603-5517. Alrighty, so then after that, we place the date. It says the nature of this submission is the I-485 adjustment of status for permanent residency. I'm sorry, I got a lot of insects flying around me and they're getting on my nerves. And I have a phobia about my ears and my nose, and that's what they try to go to. Anyways, I'm getting irritated. But it's so beautiful out here and it's breezy and nice. But that's the only downfall, the insects. Alrighty. So, dear sir or ma'am, enclosed is my I-485 petition for adjustment of status for permanent residency, permanent residence. My wife, and my name is stated there, and I was married on, and we put the date. Photos of our marriage along with the necessary application and forms are enclosed, and thank you. So then the contents. So then, contents include, was typed, the G, 11485, e-notification of application / petition acceptance. And what that is just a document that you send into them. When they receive your application, they'll send you an email as well as a text. So it's just simply asking you for your phone number and your email address. Okay, so next, there's the bank cashier's check for $1,140 for filing the adjustment of status for permanent residence. The next document enclosed is a cashier's check, a bank cashier's check for $85, which is for the biometrics fee. Then we placed in the binder the I-485 adjustment of status for permanent resident, and that was an application of 18 pages long. My husband also had to place in 2 passport photos of himself, a copy of his birth certificate, his ID from Jamaica, his passport, a copy of the K1 visa that they placed inside of his passport for him to take his one travel. It's only good for one travel to the U.S. A copy of my birth certificate, my ID, and my passport. Then we placed in here the G325A, which is basically asking for information on our parents, where our parents were born, where we were born, addresses for the last 5 years, and I believe that's it. And we had to sign it and place our email address, I believe, on it. I will let you know when I get to it. Okay, and we did the G325A and placed the 2 passport pictures on there for him. Did the same for myself. I don't think I placed any passport pictures. I didn't, because it don't say that I did. And I didn't put a copy of those in this book, so we only sent in 2 passport pictures for him. Notice of action 1 for the K1 visa. They asked for that. So any letter that the USCIS sends you, please guard it with your life. Put it up somewhere, because if you lose it, I think the fee is $50. But something is telling me $85. I don't know, but I think it's quite expensive for a piece of paper. So keep it, please. Because like I said, anything that you do with the USCIS, they're going to ask you to go back to that old information and send them a new copy. Which they don't throw away anything, so I don't know why they want all these copies. Like, how many copies do y'all need of the same thing? But hey, I'm a good bookkeeper, so I keep it. So I sent them the notice of action for our K1 visa, the notice of action 1, as well as the notice of action 2, which was the approval letter from the USCIS. When my husband came over to the United States, they were supposed to give him something that's called the I-94, which is an admission record. They did not, but luckily you can go on, I believe it's the USCIS website. You can just Google it and place in I-94, and they'll bring up the website for you to click on, place in your information, and you can print out your own I-94. So that's what I did, because they did not give him anything at the airport when he arrived into the United States. We also placed in our marriage certificates. My sister-in-law married us, so we had a marriage certificate from Arizona, and we also had a marriage certificate from her church. So I just made copies of both. Everything you send them, you have to sign and date the bottom of it, because you're guaranteeing them that this is your information. Anything that's falsified, you don't want to ask for them shackles, honey. So be truthful in everything you do. Alrighty. So we also submitted photos from our wedding day, and we signed the bottom of each photo. What I did, I just cut and paste photos on my laptop, and then they want you to type in everything, the date, who was in the photos, what you all were doing, and then sign and date the bottom. So that was our proof of marriage, those photos. Alrighty, so when my husband came over to the USCIS, they gave him his vaccination record. So I made several copies of that, because they did ask for it again. I also went online and printed out the DS3025, which is the K1 medical vaccination form. We had to take that to a doctor so that they can give him a physical. I don't even really remember what they did with him. I think they just, I think they just, like, took his blood pressure. I'm recording. I'm recording. They took his video. They took his video. They took his height and weight, because one form that we had to submit asked for that, and we did not know how much he weighed, but we knew what his height was. Whatever they did, and we had to pay a fee of, I believe, $260, and then I had to take him to an image center to get an X-ray of his lungs, and that was another, I think, $85. I'm not sure. I think I have the receipts in here. If I run across it, I'll let you know for certain. So we sent in, we didn't send in, we put it all together to be sent in at once. The DS 3025, which was the K1 medical vaccination form. And then we also did the I-693 vaccination report by a Surgeon General. So both of those, I think one of those he brought with us from Jamaica, and the other I had to print it on the internet. I think the I-693 is what I had to go online and print. And we just filled it out, so all the doctor had to do was just put in his data and sign it. Alrighty, so then again, like with the K1 visa in the first video, I had to do another affidavit of support because, like I said, I had to prove that I was able to take care of him until they allowed him to get a job and work. And believe me, child, that was the hardest thing ever because this man don't like not being able to contribute or having to be taken care of. That was the hardest thing ever. I was just praying, Lord, please let this work authorization hurry up and come in so this man can get a job because he drives me crazy. I don't care. I know you a working man. When I met you, you was a working man. You worked all them years up in Jamaica, child. I know you ain't freeloading off for nobody, but like I said, if a man is a man, he's gonna want to be a man. And he was still a man, you know what I mean? But he did not want to be taken care of at all. That was the hardest thing to watch. And I'm just like, Lord, please let the months fly by so he can get a job. Jesus. Chill your biscuits. Anyways, so also, like I said, I had to do another affidavit of support. But I made the mistake of placing in a copy of the affidavit of support that I had sent to them for the K1 visa. It's a totally different form. So they did contact me back saying we cannot proceed until you send us the correct affidavit of support, which was the I-864, the I-864, which is the U.S. citizen spouse affidavit of support and joint sponsor. So I had to hurry up and fill that out, sign it, and I sent it off the next day back to the USCIS so they can proceed with the process. I also printed out online from the IRS my tax transcript. I sent them my W-2 and my 1040, being the U.S. spouse. That's what they asked for. Letter from the U.S. spouse employer to verify employment. So I had to get my boss to do that for me. Also, the I-765 application of employment authorization. So I placed a divider in that binder because next I had to place that application of employment in there, which is a totally different process. And then I placed another divider in there and placed in the I-131, which is the application for travel document. The application for employment authorization is 7 pages long. The application for travel document is 5 pages long. At the end of everything, my husband placed in a thank you letter, thanking the USCIS for everything. Alrighty, so let me go ahead and go through the pages now. So I just read to you the entire cover letter. The entire cover letter. So I'm just going to go through every page to see if there's anything that I need to add here. So there's a copy here. That's what's missing. What the world? Oh. I also went to my bank and got a copy of the cashed USCIS checks. I sure did. Don't play with me. Don't play like you didn't get that money. Check for $85 and the copy of the cash check for $85 from the USCIS from my bank. Again, about this passport, they want to see every single page. They don't care If you haven't been anywhere, they don't care if you only have one stamp because you've only traveled outside your country once. They want to see a copy of every single page. So if your passport is 25 pages long, you better front and back cover and 25 pages. That's what they want. If it's 50 pages long, which mine is, front and back cover, 50 pages. They don't care. Again, after every piece of evidence, you need to sign and date. So birth certificates, IDs, social security cards, passports, for me. The G325A, biometrics information, like I was telling you, it asks for the first, middle, and last name of the applicant and the sponsorer. Whether if you're male or female, ask for your birthday, your nationality, your A number, which you shouldn't even have an A number yet. He didn't, at least. My husband didn't. Okay, it's asking for any previous names. He, of course, didn't have any other previous names. If you're female, you would have some previous names there if you've been married before and divorced. With that being said, they asked for my divorce papers again. They sure did. Child, they wanted to know all my business. Anyways, city and country you were born. He, of course, at the time did not have a social security number because he was just getting here. It asked for his mother's family name, his father's family name, his mother's first name, his father's first name, their birthdays, the city and country they were born in, the city and country they're living in now. It asks if you've ever been married before, if you're married now, which he is married now, so my name went there, first and last, as well as my birthday, city and country I was born in, the date that we were married, and where we were married, as well as city and state. Okay? It asks if he had a previous wife before. He did not have a previous wife. It also asks for the address for the past 5 years. Address, city, country, state, and the years that you lived there and when you moved. It asks what was the last address you lived in for at least 1 year outside of the United States. It also asks the last 5 jobs you worked at for the past 5 years. What was your position there? When did you start? When did you quit? And what is the purpose of this biometric information sheet? And that was for status of permanent resident, sign, date, and at the bottom it asks for first, middle, and last name. Well, last, first, and middle name. We did that for he and myself. All right, I went through all this, I went through all that, I went through that. Copy of marriage licenses, copy of wedding pictures, copy of vaccination record for him. Yes, like I said before, for the immigration physical, that was $290. For the image of his lung, it was $27. Okay, moving along. You looking at me? I get embarrassed when I'm recording and somebody looking at me. It's all right, go ahead. Okay, so what I printed, like I said before, I was correct. I printed on the internet the I-693, which was the report for medical examination and vaccination record. I typed in all the information and we just took it to the doctor's office, and the doctor signed it. Do you remember what they did to you when you went to your physical? He has a headache. He won't be okay. Oh, they drew blood.
Maybe check your height, your weight.
His height, his weight. That was that for $290. Sound like we got bamboozled. They should have checked you from head to toe.
Just checking your blood if you have any drugs in it and those stuff.
They was checking his blood to see if he had any drugs in his system. And my baby was clean. I said, and my baby was clean. He was clean.
Always being.
You always clean.
Always. No drugs in this body.
No drugs in this body. Maybe a little Heineken. Maybe a little Dragon.
Yes, I'm gonna be end pretty soon.
Huh?
I'm gonna be ending pretty soon.
Oh, you gonna stop drinking? Good job. Good job, because I don't drink. I don't drink either. Never have. All right. My first taste of beer was when this man sat up there and gave me the bottle, and I thought it was a Malta, like he gave me on the beach. Gave it to me. It was freaking beer. I was like, why does it taste like beer smell? That is a beer. I'm like, what? I ain't never had no alcohol in this body, and you gonna give me a beer? I was upset. I was highly upset. He apologized, though. He said the taste is not gonna kill me. Okay, so the affidavit of support. See, here's my mistake. I got it right here. The mistake I did was placing in the affidavit of support, which was the I-134. You only place in that affidavit of support if you're doing the K-1 visa. You don't do it for the permanent residence application. You're supposed to place in, like I said before, the affidavit of support, which is the I-864, not 134. Okay. My W-2s and all that. Joint sponsor information you place behind the sponsor's information if you need a joint sponsor. They just basically want to make sure no one comes over to the United States and begin getting public assistance. That's all. They just want to guarantee that. That's all they care about. They want your money, but they don't want to get you done. Huh?
Ending all of that now.
They're ending what?
Sponsors and sponsor matter.
They're entering the sponsoring? The sponsors? The joint sponsor?
No, like if somebody don't financially stable, they still can file for someone.
Oh, cool. He's been researching, child. He's been researching. So he said that they're going to stop the sponsoring. You know, if you want to file, they'll still let you file. That's good. That's good. Because people want to be with their family and their loved ones. And basically the United States in the past and presently is making it a money issue. You can't bring your family over if you're not making enough money to support them until they're able to support themselves. And I don't see why that has to be a factor, why money has to be a factor. They've been giving it to illegal immigrants all these years, you know. But yet, with that being said, those immigrants have placed their mark on the United States. They've helped us, you know, by working. So let them come. That's how I feel. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? Okay, so I think that just about sums up my video. We pushing 36 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. You don't have to place any supporting documents in for your work authorization or for your travel document, because all of that is already here in the same binder for your permanent residence information. So like I said before, we should always show our gratitude. So place your thank you letter at the end. Box it up and send it off. Thank you for joining me on my channel. Have a beautiful Sunday. Love, peace, and happiness.